Footage from the Russian airfield of Seltsy with the Tu-22M3 in flames again demonstrated a striking thing: Ukraine has changed the pattern of the war. Russia is losing strategic bombers, fighting a state that has almost no aviation and no long-range aviation and long-range missiles at all. We see roughly the same thing in the battle for the Black Sea. When Ukraine, having no navy of its own, sinks Russian ships one after another. The Tu-22M3 is part of Russia's nuclear triad, and this is already a very high-level strike. If we speak the language of Russian propaganda, all red and brown lines of all possible shades have been crossed. It's time to choose a new color. As a result of the attacks on the Seltsy airfields, 2 strategic bombers were completely destroyed, and 2 more were damaged. Total of 4 units were taken out of service. This aircraft was developed in the USSR for the Kh-22 Storm missile, which may have a nuclear warhead for massive strikes on aircraft carrier groups of the United States. Tu-22M3 is a really serious machine, but there is a nuance. They were produced at the Kazan aircraft plant, and even now they have invested $400 million there, because they think they can revive, but they cannot. On the conveyor belt of the plant there are hulls of these airplanes from the times of the Soviet Union, and they could not revive it all. According to open sources we know that they built these airplanes in the range of 60, but less than 20 are working. The last one came off the assembly line in the early 90s. And every such destroyed machine cannot be replaced, they can't build it, it's impossible. They will go by the method of cannibalism. From some machines they will remove units and mechanisms, put them on other machines, but each lifting of such a machine into the air is a load and once again a load. Consequently, sooner or later this resource will be exhausted, and Russia will be left without this element of the nuclear triad. Strikes on airfields, which have become quite routine, have 2 important results. First, the number of carriers is reduced, of which Russia does not have very many left, and each one that disappears reduces its ability to fire airborne missiles at Ukrainian territory in the long run. They can't make new bombers anymore. Second, they are forced to relocate the surviving machines far away, literally to hell on the horns. This significantly increases the range of their flight to the launch sites. They have to spend precious irreplaceable motor resource and increases the time for preparation of Ukrainian air defense to repel a strike and for civilians to take shelter. As for what was used to destroy it, a drone launched from Ukraine or unknown saboteurs from Russia, both are good. If the first, then there is no air defense as a systemic phenomenon. However, we have already discussed this. If the second, there is no counterintelligence, which should fight saboteurs. However, both are not mutually exclusive things. The most important conclusion is that the process has begun, it will increase. And the scaling will be left to those people who should do it, and they will do it. By the way, August 24th is Ukraine's Independence Day. Earlier, the head of intelligence Budanov announced interesting events. I certainly do not expect anything, as psychological operations are an integral element of war, but I really hope for spectacular fireworks.